Here we are again, frustrated as can be. All good pals and jolly good company. Well, here we are, Robin the Sudoku Guy, with yet another tutorial number 83, and it's a beauty. I got to say a big thank you to Mark Glover from Florida, US. He sent me this puzzle that I'm going to show you, and he was frustrated because he couldn't do it. Thank you, Mark, for letting me use your puzzle for this tutorial. And also about this tutorial, you'll find that the format is different. Yes, the format is this time an app, and the app is Enjoy Sudoku by Jason Linhart. Jason has got a fantastic app on the App Store, and if you want to know more information about his apps, I'm using the paid version, but if you want to know more about his apps, feel free to look underneath my video, and underneath my video, you'll see it says show more. If you click on show more, I'll give you more information about his app. At the same time, you will see that I have listed chapter headings for this tutorial. There's lots to learn in this tutorial. I'm going to start from the beginning and go right to the very end. And in the process, you may say, I don't want to watch the beginning because I know what he's going to do, you hope. And you may want to skip to another section that, I'd like to know what that's all about. And you can, because I give you the minute and the seconds to go to. So without further ado, one more thing. After I do a premiere, I always do a live streaming session. It's about 15 or 20 minutes. It starts around 2 or 3 minutes after the premiere. And if you go onto YouTube and type Sudoku Guy live streaming, you'll probably come across it with many others that I've streamed as well. Now, what we've got here is a puzzle that when you first look at a puzzle, what is it that stands out? Well, for this puzzle, what stood out for me was this. We have a column here, and there's only 2 spaces left, which means that they're a matching pair. And let me see what the numbers are. The numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I can put those numbers in straight away. Let's go down here to this one. There's a 6 already in the block, so that'll have to be the 7. And up here we can put the 6. Okay, very good. Now, we're going to go through TMB plus ramifications along here, looking for numbers that appear twice out of 2 out of the 3 blocks. And we'll do across here, then we'll go across here, then we'll go across here, then we'll go up and down the vertical blocks and so on, etc. But along the way here, I'm going to be doing a neat little trick, and I'm calling it a unique piece of logic. So let's have a look at it. Let's start off here. There's only 1, forget it. 2, we can have 2 here. Let me just see, where can we have a 2? We can have a 2 here, okay, and a 2 there. 3, only 1 3, only 1 4, only 1 5. 6, we have 2 6s. We can have a 6 here. We can have a 6 there. We can have a 6 there. Now, you may say, well, why should you put them all 3 in? Well, if you've got a bad memory, it helps. Okay, it's up to you. 7, no 7s, no 8s, 9s, no, only 1 9. Let's go to these 3 blocks now. We have a 1 middle, bottom. This has to become a 1. Okay, let's make it a 1. And now we go to 2. We can have a 2 here and here. We have a top and a bottom. Have a 2 here and here, but there's a 2 up there. Ooh, so that makes this a 2. And this has to be another number. We'll come to that in a minute. Threes, no threes. Fours, no fours. Fives, no fives. Sixes, no six. Sevens, yes. Here we have a bottom. Here we have a top. We can put a 7 in there. And another way of looking at this is this. Watch. Here's a 7-8. Here's a 7-8. This has to be a 7-8. Okay, top, middle, bottom, using 2 numbers. Okay, well, that was pretty good. What about the 9? Here we have 9, 9. We have to have a 9 down in here. Okay, let's put a 9 there. Now let's go to this bottom row. We'll go to the bottom row and let's see what there is here. There's no ones. There's 2 3s. We can put a 3 here. We can put a 3 here. And we can put a 3 there. 4s, we can put a 4 here. This is the Snyder method. 4 there. Okay, now 5, no 5. Yes, there's 1 5, no luck. 6s, only 1 6. 7s, only 1 7. 8 and 8, 1 8, no 9s. Now we'll do the vertical blocks up in here. Okay, the vertical blocks. Ooh. Now let me see. There's only 1 2. There's only 1 3. We could put, now look at this, we could put a 3 there and there. 4s, there's only 1 4, no 5s. 6s, there's 1 6. Ooh, look at this. We can put a 6 here and here as well, making a matching pair. But there's something else I want to show you here, and I'm really excited about this. It's something unique. I call it the unique logic. Have a look at this. Here we have, we have a 6 and a 3. That means that a 6 and a 3 cannot be here or here in this block because you'll be repeating the numbers. Therefore, the 6 and the 3 has to be there. So that's another way of getting that matching pair. Now that we've got a matching pair in this block, we know the rule that if you have 2 empty cells, it means another matching pair. And so we can work out what that is. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 4 and a 5. So let's make it a 4 or 5 in there. Here we go. Let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Great. Moving right along. We could go to these blocks now. What have we got? Well, just think for the 1. There's 2 2s. There's a 2 here and a 2 here. We can make it a 2 here and a 2 there. But we don't have to do a 2 at all. We've got a 2 already here. I can get rid of that one. Okay. 3s. Yeah, we can put a 3 in. Here's a center. Here's a right. Here's 2 lefts. So we can put a 3 there and we can put a 3 there. Okay, 4s. No luck in the 4s. 5s. No luck in the 5s. 6s. There's 2 6s. There's a 6 here and there's a 6 here. We can put a 6 in there and we can put a 6 in there. Very good. Now, 7s. Well, we've got 2 7s. We put here in the center, a right. We can put 2 7s up in here and a 7 here. 8s. No luck with an 8. They can go all over the place there and in here. 9s. We do have luck for the 9s. We have a 9 on this left, a 9 here at the center. So we can make a 9 down here. Sorry, you may hear a garbage truck out the back somewhere. My apologies for that. We've got 2 9s in that spot. Let's now go to this area here, the 1s. Yeah, we have 2 1s. We can have a 1 here and here and here. Now, 2s, there's 2 2s. We can have a 2 here and a 2 here. It has to be a possible 2 here and a 2 here. Fantastic. Now, guess what? This is where we come to another example of the unique logic. The unique logic. Let me show you. If you look at these 3 blocks, And if you also, by the way, just for interest, see this block here? That is exactly the same configuration as this block, but it's upside down. And that tells me that this puzzle is a genuine, traditional design of a Sudoku puzzle. That's to the side. Now let's go to this unique piece of logic. Here is a 4. Down this in this column, here is a 5. That means that in this block here, a 4 and a 5 cannot be there. Otherwise, you're going to be repeating the numbers. They can, however, go over here. So we can put a 4 or 5 there, and we can put a 4 or 5 there. Neat trick, eh? Fine. Now, here again, if you've got a block with 2 empty cells, it's always going to be a matching pair. And we can work out what that is. 1, 2, it's going to be a 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 and a 6. So let's put them in. Here's a 3 and a 6. Here's a 3 and a 6. Now, I want to show you something different again. We know that if this is a 3 and 6, that 6 can go. So let's get rid of it. And this 3 can go. So let's get rid of it. Now, but there's another thing I want to show you about this. It's a neat trick again. Have a look at this top row. We have a 3, 6. That means a 3, 6 in this block cannot be there. Otherwise, they'll be repeated. But now have a look at these 2 cells. You cannot have a 3, 6 because we're going to have a 3, 6 there. So that can't be a 3, 6. But you can have a 3, 6 there and there. Now, I'm going to leave those there for the time being, but because they're going to play an important part in the next part of the puzzle. So that's a neat little trick, just looking at that sort of thing. Now, let's look at cross neat. Do we have any luck in the cross neats? 1s. No, I don't see anything in the cross neat. 2s. Oh, here we have cross there, down here, 1, 2, 3 spots, no luck. 3s. We have a 3 here, go up here. This block doesn't have a 3. Throughout 3 across it. 4 spaces, no luck. No luck. 4s. Look, here's a 4, go across here. Make that 4 come down here. You've got, and let me see, there's a 4 up across here and go up here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, no luck. 5s. Here we have a 5. Look at this block up here, it doesn't have a 5. Here we have a 5. Go up there, can't be there or there. That 5 means it can't be there. The only place a 5 is going to be there and there. That means that we have 3, 5 possibilities over here. Great. That helped. 6s. 6s. Well, if I go, look at this block here. If I take this block and go across there, take that 6 and come down, we can have 2 6s there. Okay. And that means that we can have, because of that 6, we can have possible 6s here, here, and here. Okay. Now, what's the next step? 7s. Can we do anything with the 7s? Don't think so. No. If you take this 7 across here and that 7 down here, you've got 1, 2, 3. No luck. 8s. 8s are all in. There's an 8 along there. Here. 8 here. Look, I missed this. 8, 8. This could be an 8. This could be an 8. Missed that earlier. Got too excited about the unique piece of logic. Now let's look at 9s. We ended up with the 9s. 9s, no. 9s there. 9s up there. We've got 1, 2, 9, 1, 2, 3, no luck. So now let's go to, it's now the stage where we've got to look for anywhere where there's only 2 cells left or 3 cells left. Let's do that. I'm looking for there's nothing with 2 cells left. What about 3 cells? I hope you can find one. I haven't found one yet. No luck. They're all 4 cells. I mean, look at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man. I'm at the stage now where, to save time, I'm going to put all the little numbers in. Now, if you were working on a newspaper or a book or something, I would suggest you do your best to put in all the little possible numbers. And that takes time, and you got to get it right. But because I've got lots to cover yet, from now on particularly, I'm going to put in all the small little numbers just to save time. Wow, look at that. Step number 1. Is there any cell that's only got 1 little number in it? I'm looking around, can't find any. Okay, step number 2. Is there any matching pairs by themselves? Yes, I see a couple. Yeah, there's 2 here. Let's take this one. There's a 3, 6 matching pair. Now, this is one of the features of locked little numbers. And there's different forms. I'm going to show you 3 different forms from now on. This one here is in the block. That's essential. It's got to be in the block, and it's got to be in a column or a row. If it is in the column, in this case, we can get rid of any 3 and 6 in the block as well as in the column, which is a neat trick. And that's the most important thing to learn today, that if you have a matching pair in a block and it's in a row or a column, you can get rid of 3 and 6 is in the block as well as up in the column. So let's do that. We'll do up here first. 3, 6. We'll get rid of that one and that one. We'll get rid of this 3. Whoops. What did I do? I got sorry. 3. We'll get rid of that 3. We can go down here and get rid of a 3 and a 6. 3 and a 6. We can get rid of there, and we can get rid of that 6. We're getting rid of and eliminating all kinds of numbers just there. Now we've got more to do. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, got 8 of them. Here we can get rid of this 3 and 6. Here we can get rid of this 3 and 6. And what are we left with? What we had before. So that makes you feel really good because you've got it right before. Here we go. Isn't that neat? Okay. Now there was another matching pair somewhere. Yes, over here. A 4, 5 matching pair. And because of what we just did, we got a 4, 5 matching pair there. Now here we have 2 types of scenarios. This is in a row, but it's not in a block, but it still can be used. Here we have a 4, 5 that's not part of the matching pair, so we can get rid of that 4 and 5. And we're left with a 3 and a 6. But now let's look at this 4 and 5 up this way. It's in a block. And it's the same rule that if it's in a block, these are locked 4 and 5s, which means that any 4 or 5 in the rest of the block and in this column can be removed. Sometimes I think Jason Linhart calls this pointing. So this 4 or 5 points up here, but it also points down here to other 5s, and you can get rid of them. So I'm going to get rid of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get rid of 5 of them just here. Ready? Here we go. Get rid of that 4, 5. Get rid of this 4. Get rid of this 5. and get rid of that 5. Wasn't that neat? That's just understanding block little numbers in a block. Again, it's got to be in a block to make that. We can also get rid of this 5, of course, because it's part of it. And guess what we've got? 4, 5, and 3, 6 like we had before. So we know for sure that if we hadn't seen that little trick before, we would have still got the right answer. Okay, now let's push on. What are we looking for now? I'm looking for locked little numbers within a block. Let me see now. Here's one right here. Have a look at this. Here we have a 5 and a 6. Nowhere else in this block is there a 5 and a 6. Nowhere else. Therefore, those 5 and 6s are locked. And in fact, they're what we call a hidden matching pair. If they're a hidden matching pair, you can get rid of these other little numbers, because if they are a matching pair, one of these cells is going to be a 5 and one of them is going to be a 6. That has to happen if it's a matching pair. So we can now remove that 1. We can remove that 9. Whoops, remove that 9. We can remove this 2. We can remove that 7. And we can remove that 9. We're left with a 5, 6 matching pair. Now we have a matching pair. We can also get rid of any 5s and 6s along here. We're getting rid of tons of numbers. My last tutorial, I think we called it Elimination Heaven. If you eliminate all these, things start to happen, and you'll see later on. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 5, and I'm going to get rid of that 5, and I'm going to get rid of that 6, and we eliminate that 6, remove it, and now we're left with a much less numbers in here. Fantastic. Now, when I got rid of those little numbers, we now have a situation where, oh, this is interesting. We now have a situation where we've got 2 9s down here all by themselves. There's no other 9s in here, which means that they are locked. And they are in a row, and they are in a block, which means that we can remove this 9. Okay. And we can remove this 9. So that 9's gone. Neat. Now, let's once again, look at this block and this row, this row in here. And I'm going to show you, we just did pointing little lock numbers pointing this way. Now I'm going to show you what we call claiming using locked little numbers. Look at this row. It has no 5, no 6 or 9 except in the block. Therefore, these are locked, because we know that this row has to have a 6 and has to have a 9. We don't know where. That it has to have a 6 or a 9. If that is the case, watch what we can do. We can get rid of this 9. We can get rid of that 9. If we can get rid of a 6, we've got rid of all the 6s already there, haven't we? So we know that one of these is going to be a 6 and one of these is going to be a 9. But there's something else I want to show you here. Look at this 5. That's the only 5 in that row. Now we're going to start making sure that you understand, because it's a computer system, you understand what's going to happen if I put a 5 there. That 5's going to go, and that 5's going to disappear. The computer's going to do it for you. If you didn't have a computer, you can do it on paper, you would have to remove those yourself. But watch those 5 disappear as I put a big 5 in there. You ready? Here we go. Boom, they're gone. But what does it do? It gives us another matching pair. It's a 3-4 matching pair. Now, what can we do with that 3-4 matching pair? Well, because it's in a block, they are locked. Because it's in a block in this position, that one of those has to be a 3, one of them has to be a 4. That means we can remove this 4. Now, we can remove that 4. We can remove this 4. And we can remove this 4. Oops, come on. Now we're left with a, gee whiz, not used to using this system. Okay, here we got a 5, 6. Does that help us? No, looking up here, there's no 5 and 6s, so we can't help us. But this will. Because these are locked, we can get rid of any 4 or 3 up in this. So this is a pointing lock. We're using pointing. We can get rid of this block here. This 4 rather. Concentrate. That 4's gone. So that was lucky. Now what do we do? I'm going to look again for a matching pair. This one we looked at didn't work. There's a matching pair up here. You may have seen it. Can you see one up in this area here? Yes, it's here and here. Now that's a normal matching pair in a row that enables us to get rid of any 7, it's a 7, 8, or 8 that's not in these 2 cells. And this 7 can go, get rid of it. This 8 can go. Ooh. Now, this is interesting. Now let's take this 4. If that's a 4, this goes, that goes, and that is the only 4 left. So we'll have a top, middle, and a bottom. So I'm going to make that into a 4, big 4. And let's get some big numbers now. 4. Okay, see the 4 went here, it disappeared. Okay, now we'll go across here. That becomes a big 4 as well. If that becomes 4, left, right, center. That's correct. Good. Now that was a great little bit of discovery, but you know what? In doing that, we found another 3. This is another matching pair. There was a 4 there, but it disappeared when that 4 went in. So now, if that's a matching pair, these 5s can go. So we can get rid of those 5s. Whoops, just a minute. We can get rid of those 5s. And we can get rid of those 5s. Okay. Now, what does that do? Let's have a look. Yes, these 5s are locked. There's no 5s and 3s along there. There's no 5s and 3s elsewhere now. But they're locked 9s. See that one and that one? There's no other 9s in here. So they are locked. One of these 9s have to be a 9 because the block needs to have a 9. Therefore, we can get rid of that 9. Ta-ta. Bye. Now, what does that mean? We have a 9 up in here, a 9 there, a 9. One of these has to be a 9. Believe it or not, oh, did you notice this? This is a triplet or a 3x3. Let me come again to talk about the triplet. A triplet is where you have 3 cells and only 3 numbers can go in it. Whereas we have a 5, a 7, and an 8. When you have a triplet like that, or a 3x3, 5 will go somewhere, there or there, 7 will go there or there, or 8 will go there or there. But each of these cells will have one of those numbers. If that is the case, it's just like a matching pair. We can get rid of 7 and 8s and 5s down in here. There's no 5s, but we can get rid of the 7 and 8. Look at this. Here's a 7 and 8. We're left with a 9. Here's the 8. We'll get rid of that 8. And here's a 7. We can get rid of that 7. Well, now we've got 2 nines. Now, which 9 are we going to use? Well, this is all by itself. So I'm going to use that as a 9. Here we go, top, middle, bottom. And we'll make that a big 9 and see what happens. Good. That's neat. Now, guess what we've discovered here? We, once again, know we've done those 3 6 correctly in the beginning. Remember I said I was going to come back to that? Well, here they are. Now, left, right, this has to be the 9. Did you notice, and I should have pointed this out, when I put that 9 in, there was a 2 9 down in here. The 9 is gone. If you'd have to do it with paper, you'd have to remove it. So it's gone. So this is the only 9 that's left that we can use for a 9. Now that we've got that 9, have a look along here. The only place to put a 9 is there. So we make that a 9. And now one of these we know is going to be a 9. Well, that was neat. We did a lot of things, all because we discovered this 3 by 3. 3 by 3s and matching pairs are so powerful. Now, what else can I find? Can you find? Can you see another locked set of numbers in a row or column within a block? Yes, I see one. We're back to this block again. There's 2 2s. They are locked. Now, while I'm on this, you cannot use the 1s because there's a 1 over here. And if you look at my previous tutorial, I did a whole session on this. When can you use locked little numbers to eliminate? You cannot use the 1 because we've got there and there and there. So it's vertical and horizontal. Can't use it. You cannot use the 7 because it's diagonal. We've already used the 9. Okay. So we have to use we can use the 2. That means we can go up. This is the pointing one. Lock little numbers pointing. That 2 can go. Oops. Okay. That 2 needs to be removed. That means that in this block, the only 2 left is this one. I was ahead of myself there, or not. Okay. So this is going to be a 2. And that's a center, left, 2 on the right. That's perfect. Okay. Another example. Now, there's something else around here. Yeah. I forgot that when that 9 disappeared, we're left with a 2. And that's going to help us. Because now watch this, when I hit this 2, that 2 is going to go. That'll enable us, and this 2 is going to go. This will become a 2, so we'll have a top, bottom, and a middle. Let's do that. Okay, 2. That's 2 went, did you notice? And this 2 went. Now this 2 went, and that 2 is going to be a 2. Whoops, we can make that a 2. Why isn't it doing it? I've got to select it first. Okay, so we now have a 2, 2, 2, top, middle, and bottom. But when we did that, look at this. We revealed a 1 because it was a 1, 2. Now it's possible for me to use that 1 because it's the only 1 that we can use because it was a 1, 2. And watch, when I make this into a 1, this 1 goes and this 1 will go. Very valuable. And this 1 will go. And we'll get all kinds of numbers that we can use. So let's take that as a 1 and we'll make it a 1. Did you see that 1 go? And this 1 went and this 1 went, giving us a 6. Okay, let's make it a 6. Now, what does that do? It gives us a 3 up in here. Here we're getting if we got that as a 3, we know that's going to be a 6. So let's make that a 3. And we make this a 6. Things are starting to happen now. Okay. We've now got a whole row done. Now, neat. When I did this 2, this section in here, we revealed another matching pair, a 7-8 matching pair. Now, what is that going to do for us? Well, in that block, what is it going to do for you? As you're probably telling me right now, if this is a 7-8, 7-8, you can't have that 7 there. So we can get rid of that 7. Whoops. We can get rid of that 7, and we're left with a 9. Well, let's make it a 9. Okay, 9. Which means, now look at this. This is a 9. That was a 7. So this becomes a 7. They were matching pairs. Did you realize that? That was a matching pair. And this was a 1, and this was a 9 matching pair. So if that was a 1, no, this becomes a 9. Boy, we're moving along now. If that's a 9, that's a 9, that's a 9, that's all correct, all the 9s. We've got all the 9s, fantastic. Now, when I put that 7 in, what did that do? Over here, I forgot to tell you about that. If I take that 7, no, there was a 4, 7 there. So now it becomes a 4. Now let's have a look and see what happens when I make that a 4. This 4 will go. That becomes a 5. That 5 will make that a 7. That 7 will make that an 8. That 8 will make that a 5. And that 5 will make this a 4. All that because I get this 4. Thank you, Mr. 7 over here, for doing that for us. Let's see what we can do. Here we go, 4. That 4 went. Now that 4 went, so we have a 5. Whoops. Okay, select it, 5. That 5 went, so that becomes a 7. Okay. Now this, because that became a 7, this becomes an 8. And this becomes a 5 because we have a 5, 5, and a 5. That's right. We're on the right track. That 5 means that this now becomes an 8. 8. Okay. And this becomes an 8. And this becomes a 7. Boy, things are happening. Now, because we got that 8 there, we put that 8, this becomes a 5, and watch what happens now. This is going to be exciting. We're now got a 1 in here, so we might as well take that and make it a 1, and if this, that'll make this a 7. Oh, things are really moving along now. Here we have with us a 7. Okay. Now, what else can we do here? Well, remember when we had the 4, 5 down in here? This becomes a 4. Watch what happens when this happens. Also, remember when we had a 6 here, we've got a 6 there, and we've got to have a 6 there. That makes sense. But what about the 3? That 3 means it's center, left, and right. So this becomes a big 3. Okay. And so that column is now done. But let's get back to this 4. This is powerful what's going to happen now. If I hit this 4 and make it a 4, this was a 3, 4. Now look at this. Becomes a 4. This becomes a 3. That becomes a 4. That becomes a 5. And this becomes a 4. If that becomes a 5, this becomes a 6. That becomes a 5. Okay. If that becomes a 6, this becomes a 3. This becomes a 6. That becomes a 3. And this becomes, all of these are going to be solved just because of this 4. So let's see what happens. Here we're going to go. There's more than that, by the way, too. Just noticed. Okay. We'll go here. We'll make that a big 3. That makes this a big 4. That makes this a big 5. This a big 4. 5 makes this a big 6. That 6 makes this a big 5. That 5 makes this a big 6. That big 6 makes this a 3. That big 3 makes this a 6. Whoa, boomity, boomity, boom, boom, boom. That 6 makes this a 3. And what happens when I hit that 3? Look up here. That 3 disappeared. Did you notice that? Okay, I'll undo that. Let's just see. I'll undo that. See, when this becomes a big 3, that becomes a 5, because that little 3 goes and that becomes a 5. So we'll do that now. Okay, here's a 3, and there's a 5. Okay, that's the 5, and this becomes a 3. And we're on the way towards the end now. That 5 makes this a 6. Okay, that 6 makes this a 5. If that 5, well, we're on the way. Let's hope this is correct. This has to be a 1. We have a 1, 1, 1. So that's a 1, which means that this 1 will go. Got that? Okay, get that 1. Okay, 1, and that 1 goes. Now, because of they have 1 top, middle, bottom, this has to be a 1. Okay. Therefore, this has to be an 8. This has to be a 7. And this has to be an 8, and voila, we did it. A couple of little hiccups along the way, and Jason says, congratulations, puzzle complete.